The grid program is the first modular belt grinding system from Fine. All necessary assembly parts are included with the belt grinder. For quick and easy assembly of the grit machines, you will need a set of metric hex wrenches and open end wrenches. First, assemble the four sides of the machine base with the supplied bolts. Then place the machine base on the overturned belt grinder. Insert the large bolt through the base and belt grinder. Tighten the nut and install the two adjustable hand levers in the threaded holes. With a helper, turn the machine upright. Attach the spark box to the grinding plate. Mount it with a distance of no more than 2 millimeters from the grinding belt. Don't forget to attach the eye protection visor. Position the machine at its final location and bolt the machine base firmly to the floor. Only when the machine is firmly mounted in place is it safe to begin working with. When starting the machine for the first time, switch it on briefly and then off again right away. Check whether the direction of rotation is correct with the arrow on the machine. If the machine runs the wrong direction, the electrician will need to make a wiring correction. Tracking the belt on the contact wheel is done by slightly turning the belt adjustment knob. In order to change the grinding belt, push the belt tensioning arm all the way down. Open the top machine cover, remove the grinding plate along the spark box, and open the side cover. Remove the grinding belt and mount the new one. Close the side cover. Attach the grinding plate. Tighten the belt. Finished. For your own protection, always work wearing eye protection and gloves, and be sure to observe the safety regulations. For surface grinding, open and remove the top machine cover. Raise the surface grinding table using the adjustment screws on the side until the grinding belt is just barely touching and fasten it in place. After completing the surface grinding job, lower the surface grinding table back to its original position. First, assemble the GXR base with the collated strip holders and the four rollers. If you're working by yourself, use the plastic box as well as part of the cardboard box as a stand to assemble the housing. This makes attaching the base to the upper housing much easier. Bolt the housing to the device base. For the final assembly of the feed lever, loosen the socket bolt. Engage the lever, reinsert the bolt, and tighten it. Insert the angled vise with the rapid clamping device into the guide and fasten the stainless steel jaws. For your own safety, attach the eye protection visor at the end. To connect the GXR radius grinding module, first remove the grinding plate with the spark box, the eye protection visor, and the grinding belt from the basic machine. Then, loosen the front and rear fastening bolts on the housing of the GXR module. Loosen the height adjustment handles on both sides of the belt grinder and fasten the GXR with 4 socket bolts on the left side of the belt grinder. Retighten the height adjustment handles and the 4 socket bolts of the GXR module. Insert the contact rollers you want to use and slightly tighten the bolts. Mount the included grinding belt. Check that the belt runs in the middle of the contact roller before you switch on the machine. If it does not, loosen the attachment bolts as well as the 2 setting screws of the adjustment unit. Use a hex wrench to set the adjustment bars. Finish the process by tightening all bolts and locking the height adjustment levers. A secondary test will indicate if you have the proper adjustment. The rapid clamping device fastens the workpiece quickly and securely. The feed lever moves the workpiece against the grinding belt. Operating the lateral adjustment at the same time causes an even wear of the grinding belt. If the radius is not centered in the workpiece, as in this case, adjust the contact roller by releasing the rocker lever, adjusting the roller as needed, and retighten it. For deburring cleanly, we recommend the Grit GXE deburring machine. Included in the GXC package is a connection cable for the switch box on the belt grinder. Please have this cable connected by a qualified electrician according to the operating instructions. First, fasten the machine base by inserting the holding bolts and screwing it tight. Then mount the 4 rollers. Then, fasten the proper guide rail for the workpiece, as well as the connecting angle to the belt grinder. To connect to the grinder, first remove the grinding plate with a spark box and lift the work end of the belt grinder. Move the GXC module into position with the 4 bolt holes in alignment with the belt grinder holes. And install bolts. Tighten the 4 holding bolts of the GXC module and fasten the connecting angle to the belt grinder. Retighten the height adjustment. Bolt in the holder for the GXW coolant module and fasten the components. Connect the GXC module to the power supply plug on the belt grinder switch box and check whether it runs in the right direction by switching it on and off briefly. The center of the workpiece should lie about 1/3 of the pipe radius below the imagined axis between brake disc and contact plate. The distance of the guide rail to the grinding belt should be about 1/4 of the pipe radius. Align the brake disc, workpiece, and contact plate so they are parallel to each other. Adjust the stop of the brake disc so there is no contact to the grinding belt when the grinding process ends. The pressure force of the brake disc can be adjusted by the spring tension hand crank. The workpiece feed rate can easily be adjusted by the star handle.